Hi everyone, you're watching the Virtual Amicus and I'm Jay Lodha. So today we have kept a special segment, a special episode, and the topic of that episode is building a career as an in-house counsel. Yes, so when I was in law school back in 2013, I had absolutely no clue who is an in-house counsel, what is his role like, what activities does he need to undertake, what are his job responsibilities, how does one build a career, how does one apply, where to go, what not to do, what to do, and most importantly, how different is the role of an in-house counsel as compared to the role or a job of that of a solicitor or a lawyer or a barrister, etc. and etc. So to assist us better, we are joined by an in-house counsel. That's right. We are joined by a very dynamic and upcoming in-house counsel. She works at HCL Technologies based in Noida. We are joined by Miss Swati Sinha. And just to give you all a brief introduction about our amicus for today's session, Ms. Swati Sinha graduated from Lady Shri Ram College for Women back in New Delhi in the year 2009. She studied law from Faculty of Law, Delhi University in 2012. She's been actively involved in the legal profession for more than 7 years now. Major areas of practice and specialization being litigation and ADR. She started as an associate under Advocate Mr. Mayank Goel, where she worked for almost a year, handling and specializing in civil and company litigation. Her second stint was with Advocate Mrs. Kajal Chandra, actively practicing at the original side, criminal, company, and ADR, and which also proved to be a turning point of her litigating career. She's where she actively specialized in what was involved in litigation and ADR for a span of 4 years and more. And she also worked prior to that as a senior associate litigation ADR in a firm called Singh and Associates, which is a fast-paced growing firm having its presence in Delhi, Mumbai, Gurgaon, and Bangalore. And she handled their large-scale arbitration matters with a mix of litigation for about 2 years. And at present, as we all are aware, she is an in-house counsel and doing exceedingly well for herself. So thank you, Miss Sinha, for taking out time on a busy working day. Uh, Anything that you wish to say before we start with our special segment?
No, I would just like to say, Jay, thank you so much for that introduction. And I would really congratulate you on this endeavor that you're going on with. This is stupendous, I would say. And I mean, it's so good to see you, bring the legal minds or anyone who can alter the perception regarding any forte of law to the common, students or people who are watching you. So I think this is a terrific platform, and I'm honored to be a part of it. So thank you so much.
In fact, a big thank you to you, Ms. Sinha, for saying yes readily, accepting our invite, and coming on our platform to share your experiences. So I think we should start with our segment. All set? Shall we proceed?
Sure, please.
So we've kept a Q&A session to all the viewers who are watching. First question, moving forward, Ms. Sinha, if you could explain the role of an in-house counsel, the job that he needs to undertake, and what exactly is the role like? Is it different from a normal practicing advocate? Over to you.
Well, so Jay, I have been a product of litigation and I have been practicing for 6 good years. And when I came to as an in-house counsel, I was quite perplexed, with respect to the sort of roles we would be handling as an in-house counsel. Of course, I was aware that your sole client would be the company, and so your dedication is you would be the custodian and the legal custodian of the company. However, my perception really changed when I actually started working here. Of course, the first 3 months were very perplexing. I could not understand what is happening, and of course, I'm not getting to go to courts, and so on and so forth. But then I realized that there's so much riding on you as an in-house counsel when you represent the company. So to start with, there are series of roles that you assume as an in-house counsel. The first being the advisory of the company. So anything which has any legal connotation, the risk and cost that may or may not arise comes to the uh, legal segment of the company. So any decision has to be taken, any policy that has to be made by the HR, any vendor contracts, any vetting of contracts, any litigation on the India business side that needs to be, materialized. Every action, whatever stems in the company, has to be, screened through the legal, team. So this was something like, for even a simple mail that's being sent out to the external counsels or to the external members of the company, we see that the legal is involved in everything. It's like without the legal's assent, they are not moving forward. So it's something that I felt like, oh my god, so much is resting on the legal over here. You say yes and they go ahead with the filing of a petition. So I believe there is something much more to being an in-house counsel than just being a litigating lawyer in a law firm, because there you work on an hourly basis, and you bill to the clients because you feel that you work. But here you work as a client to the external counsels, and you work as a lawyer to your organization. So I think this is very fulfilling when you want to build that confidence that of course you're protecting the interests of the company. So ranging from any sort of advisories to any sort of litigations that may come your way, it is to be dealt by the litigation team.
Thank you so much there, Ms. Sinha. Now, moving forward to our next question, talking about your journey, how did you land up in this field? Was it by way of an accident, or by design or planning? Was some planning involved in the entire process, or was it that it just happened over a period of time?
I think I would choose the last part of your sentence. It just happened, I see. I would just want to convey this message to every law graduate who wants to build a career in this field. I would say, please go for it, but give yourself some time, 2-3 years time, to build your confidence as a lawyer, practicing in the high courts, practicing in the courts, so that once you assume a role as an in-house counsel, you're not dumbfounded as to what is happening, how you are to protect the company, how you, of course, don't turn out to be a mail pusher, just, outsourcing matters to the law firms. So here, when I came, I personally believe, Jay, that, an individual can be a good lawyer or a bad lawyer. What separates is your personal attributes. I've seen people not adding value to the work they outsource to the law firms. But here we make sure that our value is being added, because at the end of the day, and mark my words, at the end of the day, it is the leadership, us, the legal team, as to how they are protecting the interests of the company. And at that point of time, you are the face of the company as a legal custodian. So you might as well just see that the matters are reaching its logical conclusion. So when you say that, of course, I think there's a perception, and I don't think so. I need to, sort of, downplay it by my conversation. But I feel that a lot of people feel that in-house counsels are just mail pushers, and the work is entirely done by the law firms. Big no to that. I think this is just a prejudice that has been running for years now in the legal fraternity. I think it is very important that you involve as much as possible with the law firms, because anything and everything that you say to the law firms, they will carry out your instructions in its entirety. If you say this draft is not good enough, I want a facelift to the draft, they will do it. They will, and I'm talking about the A-listers over here. So this is how it goes. You have to set in your personal attributes. So for that to happen, you have to have certain sort of courtcraft skill. You should be aware of the mores of the proceedings of the court, so that you are able to instruct external counsels. You're able to give your advisories to the, to the company that is solely dependent on your advices. So I think you would be cheating them if you just come out straight of college and you're not even aware of how the legal proceedings. So mold yourself as a lawyer first, and then try to sort of venture into this sort of this forte of law. So this is what I did, Jay. I started practicing as a litigating lawyer. I had a strong stomach for 5 years. I went on with it. Then I started I started considering as joining a law firm. Slowly, steadily, I was little burnt out. I would not be very sort of modest in saying, yes, I was. And I wanted to have a work and life balance. For that, I think in-house is a very good practice, but let me please set it straight that it does not mean that you're a male pusher. It does not mean that you will not be handling matters. I think your work is much more, you have a multiple role over here as an in-house counsel. You become a client and you become an advisory at the same time. Client to the external counsels and advisory to your company. So there's so much riding on you. It is so interesting. It is so fulfilling, I would say, and it is so much of confidence building that I have gained over the past 2 years, I think. So I would really encourage a lot of law students who are considering this stream of profession. Please go for it.
Exactly, Miss Sinha. I think there are so many misconceptions around, surrounding this position. I think it's very important for people to abandon, to control, shift, delete all of this, and to understand the role of an in-house counsel, how important, integral it is, because ultimately you are answerable to your company, and you are the ultimate protector and savior. There could be a senior counsel who you might have engaged, and he can probably ditch you at the last minute, but then you have to be there answerable to your company with respect to instructions, with respect to briefings, with respect to advisory, which is so very important. So it's not just a male pusher, which is one of the zillions of roles that are played by an in-house counsel. There are so many other responsibilities surrounding the same. So moving forward now, Ms. Sinha, share your personal journey so far. You've been in in-house counsel for quite some time with a very reputed company that obviously needs no introduction in the market. Uh, any lessons that you've learned over the years, anything that you wish to share, the mistakes that you made and that you would obviously wish, try or avoiding in future course, any lessons that you've learned, and how has your journey been so far?
So Jay, as I told you before, my journey was very tumultuous at the start because, of course, we were all plagued by COVID, and I just joined, and it was a little difficult for me to cope up with a different line of profession. However, I would say that being a lawyer on the practicing side and knowing law for good 7-8 years has helped me a lot. Has helped me a lot. I think I am in a position where I can confidently advise the internal stakeholders, and I can add value to the matters that are being outsourced to the law firms. It was little difficult because when you're working for a company, that's your sole client. So you have to keep in mind that there would be different sort of stakeholders and different sort of that there would be myriad sort of work that you would, of course, be handling host of clients. So at that point of time, you would just feel little flabbergasted with things that, oh my god, this was never my specialization. Do I even know anything about this sort of queries that have been asked? How do I advise them? So that is where it was little difficult for me. But now with practice, I understand that what is in the good interest of the company. Of course, not to forget and downplay the role of a mentor over here. Of course, I've the mentor that I found here is Mr. Mishra, who is handling the India litigation and compliance. So, he has been a thorough gentleman to me, and I think I owe it to him for, molding me as an in-house counsel. So much so that I have been getting, a very good response from the internal stakeholders regarding my work in advisory. So I think that is very fulfilling. But of course, the initial hiccups were there, of course, for a good 6 months, wherein I was not able to get out of my that high horse of I am a litigating lawyer, or I have been practicing in courts, and I used to talk to them like a lawyer, mentioning sections and mentioning, okay, you've heard of this code as per this. Then sooner or later I realized, if you want to seat in the table of the business people, you have to talk like the business people to them and forget for a minute that you're a lawyer. So I think that is the biggest lesson I have driven home, and I would want to push my point across, but not just stating, oh, I'm a lawyer, but feeling that, of course, I'm a part of the business, and as part of the business, I would give advisories and not mentioning a lot of sections to them, because of course they would not understand that. So yeah, these are the few things that I've learned over the years. And I think personal camaraderie with the stakeholders, of course, is very essential. The leadership goes up to to the senior vice president, to the chairman level, and having the confidence, having the knowledge, having the the propensity to you know even hold a conversation with that sort of a gentry. It is, I think, as a lawyer, you have to find your mix there. So that was really difficult for me at that point of time. But now I think I have found a place wherein I get a listening ear. So I think that is very good, and that is really fulfilling for me. I handle the India, just to apprise the audience. I handle the India business litigation at HCL, and I handle every litigation and every disputes that arises out of it. So working purely with business minded people, vis-a-vis working with lawyers and your counterparts for good 7 years, there's a huge chasm that you can see. So you have to mold yourself, Jay. There's so much as a lawyer that you just specialize while you're into litigation. I'm a good civil lawyer, but here when you get into the roles of a business person, the contracts, the IT, the system integrator, some of the concepts that you learn from them. So there's so much to learn in a forte. You become a holistic lawyer, I would say, as an in-house counsel. So I learn about the policies of the company. I learn about the interesting uh, upcoming policies that the HR is coming up with, the data security laws, the privacy codes that we handle. We can't run to external counsels every time there's a data infringement happening. So there's so much riding on us, as lawyers of the company. We have to guide them how to go about with these breaches every now and then. So you assume that sort of a role, and confidence comes with, of course, handling more responsibilities, and that has just been a natural corollary to how it has happened with me. So that's what.
To add to that, Ms. Sinha, I really liked how you have evolved as a lawyer over the years, because you've done chamber practice wherein you work with esteemed chambers, lawyers of high repute. Then you've moved to and worked for a law firm for quite some time. And subsequently, now you are in house counsel. So it is the exposure that you've got which has made a person, evolve like you have today. And it is so important, this exposure. And there is one method that we studied about when we were in law school, when we used to be in college, called the elimination method, wherein you work, you do something for a period of time, and then you let it pass, and then you switch to something else. It really adds on to your skill set. And I think, unfortunately, in India, where we are asked to be focused from day one, wakalat, do, go for it, specialize, that's the end of it. Corporate job, specialize, mergers and acquisitions, that is it. So it is so important to evolve, especially when we are living during this pandemic and challenging time, evolve as a legal practitioner to be able to cater to so many demands that have all of a sudden cropped up. So I think your understanding of it would obviously, you would have an edge over others when you talk about being an in-house counsel with such rich litigation experience that you've carried from your internships and from your work experience that you've done so far. So thank you so much, Ms. Sinha. Anything that you wish to say towards the end of our segment to all the viewers who are watching, who are mostly young lawyers, law students, who aspire to be an outstanding in-house lawyer like you one day?
Thanks so much, Jay, for that. I think I am not in a position to preach or be preachy to anyone. But yes, having said that, if I'm able to, sort of, obliterate the confusion in any young mind, I would be supremely happy to do that. Having said that, I would say, give yourself time when you take such positions, or you have a complete career change in terms of joining it as an in-house counsel. Give yourself some time. Just don't get exasperated at the drop of a hat, because this is not something that I've been doing. So yeah, 6 months I'm out of here. No, I want to join, get into my comfort zone. Don't do that, because I think you should give some time to it, to understand the mores and procedures of how it goes. Trust you me, it is very interesting. Trust you me, it is very fulfilling, contrary to what the belief is. And this is coming straight from the horse's mouth, so you can understand, of course. So these dilemmas were there in my head, but now it is quite cleared up, and I'm looking for a bright future way ahead only in in-house counsel. So that's what I would want to say. And thank you so much, Jay, for making me transcend these views across. And I'm very proud of you for having this platform. And I constantly watch it, and I'm so inspired by you. So having said that, thank you so much.
Thank you so much there for the kind words, really mean a lot. And I wish to say one thing before we end it and wrap this up, that I wish we had somebody like Miss Sinha back in our college days to guide us and talk about in-house counsels, because who knows, we could have thought about an in-house counsel as a career ourselves. So I guess that is what the virtual amicus is all about, and that is what these conversations are all about. So important, not just during the pandemic or during COVID-19, but in fact even after that. These discussions help you frame decisions which are backed by a lot of wisdom and rich experiences that the counsel, that the amicus who turns up for our session, shares and discusses. It is these decisions that are based on these discussions, which is so important. So thank you so much, Ms. Sena, for taking out time. A big thank you to all the viewers. Stay tuned. Next episode is on its way. Please stay home. Please stay indoors. COVID is still around. It's goodbye for now. Thank you.
Thank you.